How do you make your dreams a reality? Has it been very challenging? Why? The Dream to Rise podcast was created to inspire individuals on their journeys of personal and professional growth. Recognizing the power of dreams and aspirations, this podcast aims to share authentic stories, valuable insights, and transformative strategies from a diverse range of guests. It serves as a platform for encouraging listeners to overcome obstacles, embrace their potential, and pursue their passions with purpose and determination, ultimately empowering them to turn their dreams into reality. Let us listen to our guest and learn from their story. Hello to our listeners and viewers. I would like to introduce you to another guest who's from the other side, not really the other side, but kind of far, United Kingdom. And I'm so grateful to have her with me. And you know what? I'm glad that our common friend was able
Gemma.
Gemma, that she was able to connect us to make this podcast interview become a reality. But before anything else, I would like to introduce to you my special guest. She is an author, a global keynote speaker, and facilitator renowned for championing human connection in hiring and mental health. In her debut memoir, The Damage of Words, she shares her 12-year healing journey and detailing what her recovery from narcissistic childhood abuse, complex PTSD, and self-loathing. She explores diverse healing modalities, past lives, DNA level trauma, and her high sensitivity and spiritual gifts. Offering what? Research-backed insights and hope to inspire others to transform pain into empowerment and reclaim their worth. Without further ado, I would just like to introduce our special guest, Katrina Collier. Katrina, welcome to our Dream to Rise.
Thank you so much for having me, Cynthia. If our pre-conversation is anything to go by, this is going to be fun.
Yes. That's why we just had a quick chat, but then it became so interesting that, okay, let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. And I'm sure our listeners will be able to get a lot of things, valuable insights from you, from our discussion today, no? So let us start, Katrina. By the way, you're in London. Are you in London?
I am. But if anybody knows the British accent, this is an Australian accent. So it just might confuse people. Yeah. So I'm from Sydney, Australia, but I've lived in London. Actually, I worked it out earlier for 23 years.
Oh, 23 years.
I think. Yeah, it's 23-ish.
But
the maths never quite maths.
You still have that British accent.
Oh, yeah. No, Australian accent.
But I could also hear that British accent.
Oh, they'll be so offended.
Because Australian is more on wah, right?
I think it's because of where I grew up on the North Shore of Sydney. I don't have the Queenslander accent, which is really through the nose and the words go up.
Yeah,
and I can only do it by blocking my nose. For anyone not watching the video, wondering what's going on. But yeah, no, I think what I find interesting, so when I go back to Australia, they tell me I sound British, and here they tell me I sound Australian. But it's you change your words. Mm-hmm. So I say trousers now, not pants, and things like that.
Yes.
You know, and if it's like when I'm in the US, I will say elevator, not lift, and things like that. So it's often just my word choice has changed. So.
Actually, I'm from the Philippines. We call sneakers rubber shoes. So when I use...
They are rubber shoes. That makes perfect sense.
Whenever I tell some of my American friends, I have to buy rubber shoes. What? It's not raining. It's not... so,
I literally go through the trainers, joggers, runners. Like I go through a list until somebody stops and goes, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like I'm just like, those things that you wear when you're doing sport.
Yes.
Okay, so let us start because I'm kind of intrigued
Sure.
and very much interested
Mm,
about your story. So, can you
sure.
tell us something about yourself that brought you to where you are right now, or your
Oh,
biggest obstacle you had to overcome?
well, my biggest obstacle to overcome was my child abuse. But it was really interesting because I talk openly about the fact I fell into healing. And really, until I fell into healing, I didn't really realize how my child abuse, which I didn't even call abuse, I just called it like a, I told you I wouldn't swear, but normally I would say something like an effed up childhood or dysfunctional,
This.
was really, it was really impacting my 20s and 30s. And I was so unhappy and lonely and spiky and defensive. But really, until I fell into healing, I didn't know. So there is this distinct moment where I'd come to a career crossroads because I'd got to deal with another narcissist. And I went to see Michelle Zelly about my career. And we're having this hilarious conversation about me walking through Blackheath Village here in London with my dog, and people won't walk around me. Why won't they walk around me? And she went, hang on a minute. Let's just go back. And she took me back to saying that and started to like dissolve the issue around it. And then she started to peel the layers off what I now know was my core wound created in my childhood from my mum, who's a narcissist. Was emotional and physical abuse. I never felt safe as a child. I always felt like I was going to be in trouble. And hence, my memoir is called The Damage of Words. But I think if there was a pivotal moment, it was that one that was the sudden realization that I could do something about this. Like I could change how I feel about myself and the reality I'm creating around me, which was not one I was enjoying.
So, when was that time wherein you told yourself enough is enough? I have to
40.
go back. 40.
Yeah, 14
And
years
what,
ago at 40.
in what situation were you in? I mean,
Oh, I was still like married. I just lost a contract of work. So that was the motivation for going to see Michelle. And it was just a pure by chance as well, because I'd spoken to a friend of my ex-husband who's a nutritionalist, and
mhm.
she'd said, why don't you go chat to Michelle Zelly? And that, just saying that was so life-changing. And I did it. And I went, yeah, I will. I'm going to go and talk to her about my career. I don't know what I'm doing. But before that, I was in, I would say, in my 20s and 30s, even though, I got through my 20s, which were horrific, and since married and was in, it wasn't great at that point. I understand why now, and we both agree why it was the way it was. But I still felt like I was in something stable. I was married and I was doing okay and I had a roof over my head and we had a dog and all that kind of stuff. But I wasn't happy. And
Mm.
it was that. So to me, that was the pivotal,
You
if
were
I've
not
answered your
happy.
questions
You
correctly.
didn't have any children?
No,
Uh-huh.
I never wanted children. Mm-mm-mm,
Uh-huh.
mm-mm. Oh, I know, I know. That's like heartbreaking to a Filipino, but I'm sorry. I know.
No, no,
Having
no,
traveled
it's
Asia
okay.
extensively, I know. I get the question, you've not had children? I'm like, no, no. It was actually really interesting because I never wanted children because I was terrified that I would repeat the pattern. And I didn't want to be trapped. And it was actually, I didn't realize the trapped thing until I started writing my memoir. It is genuinely such a therapeutic thing to do. I suggest writing it from the healed scar, not an open wound. But when I'm writing it, it was like, oh, that's why you didn't want to be trapped. I still think about picnics, holidays, events with my family, and I couldn't get away. Like I was trapped. And it was like the thought of being trapped with a child. I know that sounds horrific to some people, but that's just
When you
was the
mentioned
outcome
about,
of my child abuse.
yeah,
So,
when you mentioned about that, that you're scared that it might happen to your child. Well, we shared before this one, I shared also my story to her, and she mentioned that good that you have stopped the cycle. The
yeah.
the and that's was that was my concern as well, because
Yeah.
I don't want my children to realize that what happened was normal. It's
It's not
not
normal.
normal.
Mm-mm.
And
No.
actually, even my daughter, before she got married, she was kind of scared that
Yeah, that's
this
fair.
might happen to her again.
Yeah.
And she's very careful in terms of entertaining guys. And there's a wall. And I think
There's a
I must
wall.
admit,
See,
same with
that
me.
breaks my heart
Yeah, same with me.
to hear that.
Because that's why it's been like 10 years.
Mm.
Uh, I had to fix myself. I had to heal
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
And it takes healing as well. Because, of course,
Yeah.
when you start a relationship, you don't want to be the baggage of that other person.
Mm-mm. And
Yeah.
there's so much of it out there. Mm.
Yes.
Um,
But I
was
was just
chatting
like,
with my friend about dating earlier, but it is interesting. So my eldest siblings have had children. My closest sibling and myself, we've not. Um, with them, my nephews seem really grounded and quite happy and very successful in what they're doing. So it seems to me that the trauma has stopped with them. What I will say, because I only know from my sister, because I don't talk to my eldest brother about any of it. My sister would say her first instinct always when her son misbehaved when he was little, she said, I would want to hit him.
yeah.
I would want to hit him and I would have to stop myself. And I find that draining. I feel like it's so great that she did, by the way. Sorry, I don't mean that bit. I mean the energy required to not. Whereas actually the energy to heal is much less. The energy to, like I've done inner child work, and that was to me the fastest path to self-love and self-regulation. That to me was easier than having to stop myself from hitting somebody every day. And I think my fear, mind you, I've never hit my dogs. So maybe I wouldn't have hit a child. I have four-legged children.
But
But
dogs are
the
different from children, my dear.
yeah, they don't
Yeah.
answer back. They do what they're
Very
told.
loyal, and they will always follow you.
They run to the door.
Yes.
Yeah, but I tell you what though, the one I've got now, he's 13 and a half, he's hilarious. He's never in the same room with me. So whatever room I'm in, he's not in. It's weird. And good job I'm not bothered by it. I'm like, okay, I'll just leave you. That's your way, whatever. But it, it it just to me seems like so hard. And I think if that resonates with anybody, please do the work to, if you've been through childhood trauma, find someone who'll connect you to your inner child, do that healing work, become just so calm that it wouldn't enter your head. Like I rarely trigger now. And I think I was constantly triggering before.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah.
so I think that was a lot of that fear that,
Yeah. And
yeah.
I agree with you. And that's why it takes energy, time, and then
Mm,
be consistent in what you do to help
mm,
yourself, no? So
yeah.
what other ways and means did you do to help
Mm,
yourself? I mean, go out of that mentality. I mean
mm.
that mode we're in, the
It is mentality.
self-pity, the
Mm,
the
mm.
anger, the pain that which you
Oh,
have.
yeah.
So what
So,
steps have you done?
yeah, I mean, I'm going to talk a bit more about the inner child work
Mm-hmm.
because actually it's twofold. So there's what you do in session. So during the sessions, so actually, no, let me explain something first. The way Michelle explained it to me, and everyone has a different, slightly different version, but is that there's functional adult. That's the person currently speaking now. We have an inner child, and if the inner child is scared or angry or whatever, upset, out comes the inner teenager if the functional adult doesn't step in to take care of the inner child. So it was inner child, inner teen, functional adult. I was in inner teen constantly. Like it was my modus operandi, if you will, because I didn't know about my inner child. There was never a functional adult stepping in to keep me calm and keep me safe. And I needed to give to myself all of the nurturing and love, support, and protection that my parents didn't give to me. So in the sessions, though, with Michelle, once she managed to get through my extraordinarily high defenses, which apparently I still hold the record for having
Uh-huh.
the highest defenses of any client she's face, which I shouldn't be proud of, but it tickles us both that I'm like, I'm holding on to that crown. Because also I was awful to her. I don't want her to have somebody else. But anyway, she got through and she connected to my inner child. And once that happened, and once I started the work, we were able to bring my mum in, and I'm doing air quotes for the podcast, bring mum into the room, bring dad into the room, because dad enabled mum's behavior. And I let rip. So it was either my inner child saying everything that I never got to say. And I mean, we're talking tears, tantrums, the works. I was in child mode as I was speaking. It was, got it all out of my system. And
Is this some kind of hypnotism or what?
No,
No?
no,
So they were
no.
present, your
It would
parents?
be, no, oh God, no, no, no. Sorry, apologies. That's like a swear word to anyone in the US. No. For anybody who has a narcissist in their life, don't bother arguing with them or trying to change them or tell them anything they've done is wrong, because, no, that's what that reaction was about. No, inverted commas, mum. So Michelle would say to me, like, picture your mum as sitting in the chair
Okay.
opposite. And she would say, how's your mum looking at you? And I would always reply with disdain, like she always does. Well, tell her to stop it. And so I'd have to picture my mum neutral, which is really hard. Anyway, I would. And then I would just start whichever. And it's funny because you just know once you're in that trusting situation with an inner child specialist, well, she's like a childhood trauma informed coach. You just know. I think the most interesting was the time that my inner teen, though, went a little bit berserk at imaginary mum sitting in the chair, because the next second I was jumping around and Michelle had to give me a cloth and I'm like wiping this energy off me. And it was all of my mum's sort of toxic sexual frustration energy that I just absorbed. And it was amazing. That was such a distinct moment in the middle of that this realization, gosh, we really do just, we're energetic beings, and it goes. So there's the session side, but what's really critical to inner child work is you must keep doing it. So you must keep, I used to sit with a cushion, now I don't have to do that. Now I just put my hand on my chest and be like, you okay? And I check in. If I suddenly feel like, oh, okay, I'm about to do something new and I can feel like I've got somersaults in my chest. Okay, what's up, mate? What's going on? Do you need me? I'm here. Functional adult. No inner teens are coming out, and boom, I'm calm. She knows that she's protected. I can go do anything. I'm within reason. I don't think she wants me to bungee jump, but, she just feels safe. So I think that's one of the big parts. I know I've done a lot of other interesting things that I'm sure we'll get to, but I think the other thing, which I talked to our mutual friend about as well, is, you said mentality. It is, because as children of trauma, we learn very quickly that our needs are not going to get met. And we start putting everybody else first to create safety. So we create thought patterns that run a specific way, like a riverbed. And to get those to shift is probably the hardest part of healing. To rewire your brain is the hardest part. To stop. So I had, mum used to sit on my shoulder, like repeating back to me, inverted commas, obviously sitting on my shoulder, but repeating back for 2 decades everything she'd said in the first 2 decades. And then I had ego, personality was so loud and overdeveloped because, again, the trauma, it was there to protect me and then trap me as an adult. So I had to learn to go, okay, that thought, is that one I want to take on, or is that just, and that's hard. It's hard to stop yourself and go, why am I thinking that? That's not true. I'm not like that. Or why am I thinking nasty thoughts about that person? Why, and just learning that, because that takes repetition, and so much self-kindness and compassion, which, if you have no self-worth, is effing hard to get to that point. That's twice I've almost sworn and not done it. Just, as an Australian living in London, it's very hard not to swear. And sometimes it's but it's that is so hard. But I think actually, once you do that, you start to become aware, I'm washing the dishes, but I'm thinking really horrible thoughts about something or somebody or myself. Why am I doing that? What's that about? And then I would take my thinking to my dog because it's the quickest way to go to joy and love and, to think happiness and just shift the
Yes.
river. So,
I
so there are
like,
two things, but
yeah,
okay,
I
go on.
like what you're doing because most of the time when our mind, we're nurturing these negative thoughts,
Yeah.
try to come up with something that would divert your attention and things that you enjoy. So your
Mm,
dog is gives you
mm,
healing as well, and it diverts your
yeah.
attention. Or me, like me, I go to the gym and work out. I go for a
Mm,
walk and what's this? Appreciate beauty, the beauty of nature.
yeah. Yes.
So and you feel
And
grateful.
walking unplugged, walking
Yes,
so you can hear your thoughts. Did you
exactly.
see there was a tick? Sorry, this I shouldn't laugh, but it's kind of funny. Did you see there was a TikTok trend about walking unplugged? And it was like, oh my God, poor loves. I mean, because all we've done is entertain these young things now,
Yes.
haven't we? We haven't let them hear their own thoughts. Like, and I was just going, oh no, because actually, I mean, more of probably more along the spiritual line and that, but learning to meditate, learning to be comfortable to sit in silence. I never thought I'd be able to do that
Mhm.
14 years ago. And now I'm like, oh my God, if I don't do that every morning, like you're doing on your walk, I do it on the dog walk as well. It's when my
Mhm.
best ideas come in. It's when I connect with
Exactly.
guides. It's when I hear my heart and hear what I want to be doing and feel
Yes,
that joy you're talking about.
exactly. And be surrounded by people who supports you, who lifts
Yeah.
you up. And
Yeah.
it makes a difference really. And now
Interesting
I
you
would,
say that.
huh?
Sorry, I was just gonna tangent. Interesting you say that though, because some listeners might feel if I heal, I'm going to lose people out of my
Mm,
life. Uh-huh.
yeah,
You
I
probably will.
agree.
Because the second you stop serving them by giving them your life force, yes, they might go. What a shame.
Mhm.
You'll realize later it is like bye.
Mhm. Before I was scared, I shared with you some of
Mm,
what happened. My
mm,
in-laws who caught me and the family dynamics. But now I've learned to set boundaries and
yeah,
then free yourself from from dramas, free
yeah,
yourself from negativity.
mm,
Life, our time is very limited.
yeah,
And the only thing that we can do with our time is to
mm,
utilize them, enjoy what you want to do,
mm,
be happy, and be fulfilled. And what
yeah,
you're doing is something good for you and for others.
mm,
And what we're doing here
mm,
is to share our story
yeah,
because I know it will make an impact on those who are still
yeah,
stuck in their dark
yeah.
bubble.
I
Yeah.
mean, I did not ever believe that I would, I mean, even like myself, even, oh, I can
Mhm.
feel that. I can remember the feeling of nausea when I'd be like, I will like myself. And now I'm like, I totally love myself, warts and all. Yeah, occasionally I'm like, oh God, you look a bit haggard today. But it's never nasty. It's always, and I feel vibrant. Like I feel so alive.
Mhm.
But I didn't believe that I would ever feel like that. And if I just want people to know that they can. And the hilarious thing is it genuinely, like I wrote in there, I found out happiness, is an inside job, not a cliche. It
Yes.
is. It is.
Yes.
We have the power within us. And I think in this current world of so much division, which
Mhm.
is happening in the US, here,
Yeah.
Australia, everywhere, right? The funny thing is when you actually look around at people, it's not what you see. Like the algorithms feed us that division, but when you actually look at people, if I go to the little park here, I see children are happy. They're
Mhm.
all mixed in. Everybody's having a ball. Nobody cares, and it's like appreciate that, appreciate the nature, as you said earlier.
And
There is so
yes,
much joy around.
when you mention about appreciate, yes, be grateful.
Be
Sometimes
grateful.
I always do a journal. What are the 10 things that I'm grateful
Yeah.
for? Yeah.
I'm
Because
grateful I got to paint my walls green because it's my flat and I got to paint the walls green, right? Because I lived in Magnolia. for so long. Like it's just, and you'd be stunned how often all these years later, I think I've lived here for 3 years, and I just stop and go, oh God, I just love this
See?
wall. And
And
it's a
you
coat
you
paint,
didn't
so it's
realize
really
that you
good
can do
paint.
it. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I painted them as well. It makes me
Oh,
even more
see?
excited.
Oh,
It's like,
see?
oh. And I think it sounds really crazy, but sometimes it's just such a small thing and your
Uh-huh.
whole energy changes. And then what you find is your experience of life changes, who you attract into your life changes, the work that changes.
Mhm.
It's
And those small things makes a
mm,
difference. And when you achieve small things,
mm,
celebrate. And that's
yeah,
how you feel grateful in life
yeah,
and more positive thoughts that you're
absolutely.
nurturing. You feel
Yeah,
freer, you feel
changing that
fuller,
river.
and you feel abundant. Now,
Mm.
in terms of what you have experienced, uh, because you mentioned also about you meeting someone who was also narcissistic. Did
Oh, God, there've been so many. Narrow it down.
no, I mean a life partner, something. Uh,
Oh,
You married?
well,
Was that
oh no, no, he's
before?
not a narcissist.
I'm not a
Yeah.
narcissist.
No,
Okay.
thankfully. No, no, no.
Uh,
Amazingly, no.
uh,
Believe it or not. But there've been plenty. So mum is a narcissist, so it was emotional and physical abuse. I then left home and went straight into a violent relationship. I think I had
uh,
about 6 months of my own. Then I had 18 months with this man, and I was just so grateful every day that we didn't have children because I can imagine some of the fear you went through because he used to threaten my life. He was a narcissist. And then I rolled through because if you do not heal, you just attract them.
exactly. That's what I was about to ask you. What
Yeah.
what do you think is the main reason why you get attracted to this type of people?
Oh, they just know. They just sense that you're somebody that they can control and
Yeah.
manipulate. They also like quite healed, strong people as well. Like that's even more of a challenge. It depends which kind of narcissist. But honestly, they're just so conniving as well. I mean, I've had them as flatmates and bosses, and the boss that's actually ended up firing me and sending me to Michelle. I got
Oh,
fired for not using a Dell laptop after I've been using a MacBook for 18 months. And I'm like, I'm not even plugged into your systems. What difference does this make? But it was hilarious. That wasn't really the reason, but that was what he used as the reason. It's hilarious. But it's like there've just been so many. And I think they just like to, I call it like eroding you from the inside out. There's
mhm.
just this way they get under your skin and make you feel like that you don't know what true is and that you aren't worthy. They're just, particularly the covert narcissist, which is what mum is. So um, I'm a highly sensitive person, which about 30% of the population are. So all of your normal senses above normal. So hearing, I've already said hearing, haven't I?
Mhm.
Smell. Sorry, it's a bit late here in the UK. Brain's starting to
Yes,
switch off.
sorry.
No, 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 it's fine. But it's just, I need to explain to anyone listening why my words don't come out at this hour. But, sight, sound, taste, touch, all of that, right? So, but my mum has that as well, but she's a narcissist.
Mhm.
And some people are like, whoa. And that means that they brew and explode. So she's got the fragile personality that can, like with the deep insecurity that can come because we are quite sensitive. So we do tend to take criticism worse than somebody who's not highly sensitive. But she would then brew and rage and explode. So, I mean, that was mum. She didn't really set me up. And until I like understood myself, understood my high sensitivity, which meant that words can hit me harder than somebody who's not highly sensitive. Um, but there's also great benefits as well. So I don't want anyone listening to think it's an awful thing. It's not. It's wonderful. Um, but you do tend to take things in deeper. Maybe that does make me more attractive to a narcissist. I'm not sure. But definitely, if you're not healed and they think that you're somebody that they can manipulate, they'll do it because it makes them feel better.
Yes.
Because, subconsciously they have deep shame wounds or, just low, low self-worth. But it's really difficult when you grow up with it, so that I didn't know any different, to then be able to see, the love bombing and then the rejection and then the spirals of neglect and pulling me in. And, now I can look back at all of them and see the pattern playing out,
Yeah.
whether it was the flatmate that was instantly so close to me and then got so hurt when I said I was moving to London, who then started behaving really, lying and just creating all sorts of havoc, or the bosses that were so close and then suddenly alienated everybody in the entire office against me. It's like now I can see there's always that initial suck you in and then start destroying you.
Yeah, I agree.
And
But
it's really tough
oh
to
yes,
spot sometimes.
yes. And sometimes you're blinded because you're in a denial stage. Oh, he's nice. He's just being good to me
Mm-hmm.
and so on,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing that it will come in later. But how's your relationship now with your mom after you,
Oh, we don't speak. Mm-mm, mm-mm,
oh,
mm-mm.
so
No,
so
no.
you've come to a point wherein you just distance yourself.
I tried to get out of the path of destruction, as I call it, for years. I
For
was sort of
years?
in out. Oh yeah, for most of, I mean, some of my 20s, some of my 30s, some of my 40s, and then finally went, enough. I'm done. I'm done. And that would because of the healing. Um, I mean, there were times like she's so nice. Um, when I got engaged to the first person I was engaged to, I try not to use their names because I just don't think it's right.
Yes.
But I was engaged in my 20s and we were living together, this man and I. And I went to see mum and showed, did the engagement ring thing, said we're engaged, blah, blah, blah. And that was fine. But then she called me and she told me how nauseous she felt at the hypocrisy of the fact that we were getting married and we were living together. So my non-religious mother suddenly
Oh,
found it hypocrisy. And I curled up on the floor in the fetal position and sobbed
oh my.
because she destroyed how I felt about my ring, my engagement, my happy moment.
Yes.
And I was just, and he said at the time, look, you just have to cut her out. So I cut her out for a while, and then of course we ended up parting ways because he was not the right person. Well, actually, no, I wasn't the right person for him. He's ended up with the right person. I'm so happy. I see on social media occasionally when I have a look that he's ended up so happy, and I'm glad because we weren't right for each other. The power of retrospect. So there'd be those moments, and then I'd sort of get sucked back into having her in my life because everyone's like, it's your mother, but she's your mother.
Yes.
No, she's
Yes.
a narcissistically abusive woman who doesn't deserve to have me in her life because I'm wonderful and she does not see that. So it's like, no, she's soul destroying to me. Um, and yeah, so it was sort of like these multiple attempts, but really it was starting the healing work. It was starting to understand that she would never change. And she would be so vicious. My father and mother, for some unknown reason, share an email address. So I would email my dad, and
Uh-huh.
my mother, after a glass of wine in the evening, would write back some spiteful misery. And
Mhm.
I just like, oh my God. So I just withdrew from him as well. And it was just, it's like, no, I'm on the other side of the world. It's time. I'm just done. It was, and anybody listening who has a narcissistic parent, at some point you just have to choose. And a lot of people will be listening going, oh, you're so selfish. Well, am I? Or is my mission here in life to heal, to share that healing, to inspire millions of people to heal? That's what I want to do. I want to inspire millions of people to heal their crap. And
Yeah.
that's why I wrote my memoir. And it's to explain the healing journey and to go, you can do this because I did it.
Mhm.
If I stay in my mum's destruction path, I'll just end up like in a mess. She will get under my skin even now.
Yeah.
And
And I
and that's not what I'm here to do.
and I understand you because well, there are instances that I'm experiencing as well that those things as well,
Mm,
the family dysfunction,
crazy making.
but they're making you feel guilty
Mm-hmm.
saying that your mom, you're not taking care of your mom. You are, what kind of child are you? No, don't feel grateful that you were,
Mm.
that you have, your mom took care
What
of
that
you
they
and
had
so
you.
on. Huh?
Well, that was her choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So I had this an article went out in one of the major newspapers And one of the comments was about that. Like, well, I hope you have your hand up for the will. If my mother chooses to leave me money in the will, great. I mean, that's her choice, right? I'm not asking for it. And it's really weird how people are about this stuff. It's like, I don't owe her anything. She chose to have me, and her contract was love, support, and protect. She did not do that. She doesn't love me. She financially supported, she didn't emotionally support me. And I needed protection from her. So it's like, I owe her nothing. I owe myself and my loved ones and all the people I'll inspire, like you're inspiring through your work in this podcast, and I'm going to inspire through everything I do to heal. That's more important.
And that's
And
what I've learned.
and to people that throw that judgment, I think it says a lot more about them.
Yes, I agree. Most of the time, we get stuck because we're afraid of what other people would say. Oh, you're being
Oh
judged.
my God, I so nearly swore again. There was a big F that coming, really, and it was nearly full blown. Oh my goodness. It's so hard. I'm sorry, listeners, for your tender ears.
But it's a fact. We cannot
Yeah,
please everyone. Just do
absolutely not.
what the Lord has planned for you to do. I think this is our mission in life, to
So,
to inspire and empower other people that, hey, there's really light at the end of the
yeah.
tunnel, and you have that power to live the life you love.
Yeah. Do you know,
Don't.
it's funny you say that because when I was full of self-hate, I would go to a party or go to an event and I would know that people wouldn't like me. So I'd try too hard and not be liked. You know that thing where you try so hard and oh, believe
Trying
it.
to belong. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I just, of course, then I was horror, literally didn't have a friend. Now that I'm full of this self-love, I go with no expectation. They might like me, they might not like me. People will listen to this and think, oh, she's awful. And others will be like, oh my gosh, that is exactly what I needed to hear. And I think it's the finding the people that are that understand and accept you as you are. And they are out there, and letting go of the people that may well throw their, and let's be honest, so much self-hatred is getting thrown around, insecurity, it's all being projected. And
Yes,
it's like learning to understand that it is a projection. I think that's
exactly.
also important.
Yes, and as we grow older, we learn to filter the true friends, our true
Mm,
friends.
yeah.
We have a lot of acquaintances. Now we always say, oh, friends. There's even a friend 40 years who has been
Mm,
bashing me, telling me,
that's
"Oh,
nice.
why are you sharing your story? What is the impact of this to the other family?" But I told her, it is my intention is pure and genuine, and
Mm,
to help other people who are stuck.
mm,
So
yeah.
that's it. So
She can hop
in
off your bus.
excuse me.
She can hop off your bus.
Oh yeah.
You have a bus of people that are, and she can hop off your bus. It's time.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
40 years or not.
Yes.
I'm sure that people I've known that long could read it and be just like, I don't believe it. And it's like, okay, bye.
Mhm. Yeah. And now we're a lot freer now. You're
Yeah.
free to do what you want to do, and
Yeah,
that makes you happy and makes your life more meaningful. Yeah.
exactly.
So with all these things, you being a keynote speaker and everything, what
Mm.
is your next goal for the next 12 months?
I would really love this memoir to reach the hands of people that it needs to reach. So I would be very focused on talking about it. I mean, obviously, I'm still doing stuff in the world of recruitment. I'm not a recruiter. I work with companies to help them do recruitment better, to be fair. It's probably the easiest way to explain it. So I will still do that. I feel like I've got my feet in two worlds at the current time, but my aim is to end up doing like keynote speaking on trauma around like my journey, my story. So it's getting a lot more energy because I love it. So it's like
Uh-huh.
I want to tell
So what?
people
So
if I can get here, you can. It's like, yeah, so it's and
exactly.
it's I mean, yeah, the vision board has arenas, I have high hopes of how many people I can touch, and just any platform that will allow me to inspire people to heal,
Yeah,
because I just
I'm
think we
glad you
can.
were able to share your story with me through this
Thank you,
podcast.
Cynthia.
Yes, and so what before we end, what
Mm.
advice would you like to share with our listeners? What simple advice?
Trust your heart. Trust that little quiet voice, that little intuition, that little thing that makes you sit up with a little bit of excitement and follow that. I talk about some really interesting healing modalities in there. I talk about past lives and my spiritual awakening and angelic healing and things that people don't necessarily believe in. But they were things I was drawn to. It was like, I'm gonna do that. People talk about other healing modalities, and I don't know what that is. That doesn't appeal to me at all. But they've had great success with it, but it doesn't attract me. So I've really trusted that if I feel like, like a lot of people go on these big retreats, I'm just not a retreat person. It doesn't, they're fantastic, I'm sure. They're not for me. And it's really interesting how I'm just like, So I think trust what you're drawn to and trust what makes you sit up, because that's the healing you need. And also, if you choose a healing professional and you don't find that you're making any progress, you don't have to stay with them. Some
Yeah.
people sort of stay for years, and it's like, if it's not
Mm-hmm.
working,
Yeah, yes.
there's two of you in the healing journey. So the sort of, a couple of tips like that, and just be open to other possibilities, not just, the normal ones,
When
inverted
you
commas.
mentioned about intuition,
Mm,
intuition is always your inner voice is always connected to our creator.
absolutely.
Yes.
Oh,
So
totally.
so for sure it
Mm,
will always be
mm.
the best for you.
It'll be right.
Yes.
But how much have we been taught? Schooling.
Yeah.
I mean, society, even with some of the things you've been saying about,
Yes.
they're telling me how I should be.
Hmm.
Head down. We've
Yeah.
been pushed to look how miserable people are. But
Hmm.
everybody who's thriving, guarantee they do what their gut and their heart tell them. The vagus nerve runs up. It runs up.
Hmm.
Gut and heart know before the head's even clocked into place, like into thinking whether
Hmm.
something is right for you or not. So as
Hmm.
you say, it's connected. It's
Yes.
soul. It's soul. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Katrina, for being here with me and to our listeners. I'm sure a lot of valuable insights were taken from you, and you have shared so much. Thank you for sharing your story. And to our listeners, thank you again, and till next episode. Bye bye.